Thank you for tuning in to What Would Helen Say? In this week's couples episode, I start out by gaining more of the assessment from the Gottmans. So today's session is really focused on the oral history. So what that is both clients are telling me how they remember the beginning of their relationship and how they've progressed from meeting, dating, being in a beginning phase of a relationship all the way up to presently where they have decided that they want to become married. So, in the course of exploring their history, a dynamic comes up between my female client and her mother. And it's definitely something that requires further exploration. If you remember from our first session, there were hints of this dynamic between her and her mother being an ongoing issue. We start to get a little bit deeper, but not quite yet. But hopefully, as you tune in and you hear their history, it may help to give you some clues. So if you like my work and you would like to support what I'm doing, please click on the Patreon link below. If you're interested in gaining detailed notes and premium access to other episodes, then please see Patreon for how to do that. Thank you. Hey, well, it's been another week. How did you guys do this past week?
Um, I would say we did pretty okay. Um, we still didn't necessarily get like the alone time, I would say,
Okay, did you
but
make an
it's been
effort?
better. Yeah, it's just the past weekend was like pretty busy for us because we had a lot of things to tackle. So, I mean, we worked together while we did those things, but it was still with the kids.
Got you. Okay. So, as long as you guys are consistently making the effort to figure out where you're going to get your 5.5 hours in, that's really, really important. And in the grand scheme of the relationship, you guys having that time becomes a huge factor in being able to minimize the amount of arguments and increase your ability to problem solve. Okay. So I'm going to start off today with a little bit more of the assessment, which really kind of takes us back in the relationship. So if you guys can tell me a little bit more in regards to like, how did you meet? When did you meet?
Okay.
Um, so we met. I want to say, because some people never gonna tell the truth.
Hmm.
So I want to say, I wrote her in her DM. I want to say 2014 in February, and then we just took off from there.
Okay. So, like, does that mean you saw something about her on social media and you reached out to her? Like, what was that?
Honestly and truthfully, she she would start with me, right? Right. She was sending shots at me like like we'll go on Twitter. I'll say something regular, and she'll make sure that she respond to it or she'll say something to it. And then one day on Instagram, she had she had posted a picture, and then I'm like, you know what? I need her right there. So I wrote her in her DM like, yeah, I need her.
Okay. So there is something about how she kind of presented herself that you were like, yeah, I'm feeling her.
Yeah, yeah, she for me. I need her.
Okay. So, B, how did you feel about, this first interaction?
Um, I laughed at the initial DM because I'm like, Nah, that's not gonna happen. Um, I was young. I was having fun. I'm just like, no, just leave me alone. He sent a DM. So I was like, what makes you so special that I gotta respond to you? I ignore all of them all the time. So, um, and I wasn't gonna respond, but a friend responded for me, and she's just like, "Girl, cut it out." And she basically like took my phone and responded to him. So I was just like, "All right, whatever."
Yeah,
He
because she
turned
know
out to
that.
be cool.
Because she know that she was sending shots at me for the longest.
Anyway, so he turned out to be cool. And yeah, it basically just started from there.
Okay. So, what was your first date like?
The first date or like our first time
No, a date.
seeing each other.
I mean, whichever. I guess you can describe both if you feel like they were different. Like a meet and greet in person type of thing, and then going on a date. Like, how did everything kind of play out?
Um, the first time that we actually met, um, I had I had enjoyed it. She wasn't boring. You know how like you got people. It's like you got some female that's pretty but they boring. She wasn't. She wasn't like that. She was actually fun and she made sure that I had a great time. Like she would offer me things like you thirsty like that. So she showed me a lot.
Okay, so she showed you a lot
And
of consideration.
yeah, she showed me. Yeah, yeah, she showed me a lot. And on the first date, it was the same way. Laugh, we joke, um, we ate, we had fun. It was just like an instant click.
Okay. So, what'd you guys do for your first date?
What
Um,
was it? The movies?
yeah. The first date was the movies in the dinner or was it just
I don't remember.
yeah, it was in 2014. I believe it was both of them.
All right. So, B, tell me a little bit more about what were your thoughts when you first met him?
Well, for one, I didn't plan on it getting this far. I'm pretty sure he didn't either. I don't know why he's talking in circles. Like he's grown just like I am. It started out as casual. It was supposed to be, and that's just what it was. Honestly speaking, so it was just supposed to be all about us just having fun, and then we will link when we see each other, and then it'll be oh, okay. Your couple minutes are done, and I'll see you when I see you.
A couple minutes.
You know what I mean? That's all it was supposed to be. But um,
She is lying. So so if you want to say it like that, this relationship got serious because of who?
what do you mean?
You was the reason why this got past this a sexual encounter.
I don't see how, but okay.
All right, so one day, right? I'm gonna tell you how. One day we chilling, we drinking, so we go to my house. I'm a little bit more intoxicated than her, so so rightfully so. I go to sleep. Somebody waking me up like 3, 4 o'clock in the morning with my phone unlocked in front of my head. They yelling at me because of my phone. But if it is casual sex, you shouldn't be going through my phone, right?
Mm-hmm.
So so after that, it was everything serious now. So now it's us.
Got you.
Am I right or am I wrong?
You're right.
So, that's how you guys decided that you're now going to be in a relationship?
Mm,
Yeah, it was more so. more so the next day, she came. She came to see me. Yeah, we had a little disagreement, argument, and then we decided like, all right, it's gonna be us two now. We're not going. It's on no more talk to this person, this person. It's just us two.
Yeah, toxic.
Okay.
You started it.
I know.
Alrighty.
I'm well aware of that.
So then this started back in 2014. Like, how much time passed from the message to you guys deciding that this is now going to be an exclusive relationship? Okay, I don't know what happened, but I can't hear you guys.
Um,
Um,
Okay, now I can hear you.
let's see what it started in February, and then
by the
relationship,
time
what, August?
yeah, like August, September, yeah.
Somewhere around there. August, September of the same.
Same,
Okay.
same year.
Okay, so
Yeah.
roughly about 6 months?
Oh,
Okay.
from February until August. I think we just started talking too low. Yeah, from February is when the DM first happened, and then we started being more serious towards like August.
Okay.
And I feel that just naturally came into play because I was on break from school, so I was home more, so I would see him more, so it's just like, you know, fun time is up now.
Okay. So, what happened when you returned to school?
Yeah.
I can't hear you again.
Um,
Okay, I can hear you.
All right.
there we go.
All right.
So once I returned back to school, the relationship continued. He started to come and see me at school, basically, and I think that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
They pretty much like stayed together a little bit on campus. Like he would come over a lot. And then what? We ended up getting our first apartment together. So it kind of moved like pretty quick, I say, to me. Oh, that was
Okay.
fast.
So, how did you guys decide that you felt like you were ready to live together? I'm sorry, is someone talking? Because I can't hear anything.
Um, basically, for last year of school, I basically lived there with her. Like she told me, she told me just to stay there with her. So like basically, I was because she had um because they gave her a house on campus. so it's like I was there more with her, and she said that she wasn't going back home. No,
What's happening? Like you guys go from like really staticky to clear. Can you hear me?
yeah, she can hear you.
Okay, that's better. So you said that
I don't
towards.
know why it's like it's lagging. It feels like an echo or something.
Okay, so I'm wondering if it's like the connection issues again because it's like a overcast again today, like it was last night. Um,
Hmm.
so if I heard what you said correctly, that towards the end of her last year in college, so towards her last year of college, you guys were spending so much time together on the campus housing that you guys just decided, hey, let's just get a place together.
Yeah,
Pretty much,
and
yeah.
yeah, pretty much is how it went.
Okay.
And what you supposed to say? He said,
And
and
she said she wasn't going back home, so another reason for her to get a partner.
She was ready to be free.
Yeah.
exactly. I was
Okay. Alrighty. So, how did the first year of living together go for you guys?
let's see.
It was well for me. It was minor like adjustments living with a female for a long time. So, but besides that, it wasn't nothing like it wasn't bad to me.
I'm trying to see if I remember. I think everything was there for the most part. I don't think it was bad. I think that apartment alone, like we had most of our arguments, and I don't know if that was like relationship stuff or it was just like adjustments of us like being around each other like full time. It wasn't like him like going back home or like me going home. It was just like we were around each other like all day. Like of course like we worked or whatever, and I went to school, but it was just like seeing this person more and like getting used to like their habits and adjusting my own. So
Okay. Sounds like a very natural part.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So, since the time that you guys have been together, have there been any major life situations you guys have had to manage?
Major as in like what?
Um, Somebody could have had a significant death in the family. There could have been a trauma, any financial crises.
Mm. Um, let me see. I don't know if that was
Yeah, I cannot I cannot recall because
significant death. I don't think so. I think financially probably a few times, and with that, I think it just comes with like age and maturity of us like having to prioritize to know like it's not playtime anymore. Like you gotta get things done basically. And then once we figured that out, it like everything really started to make more sense. Really.
Okay. So then, how did you transition again from you're living together to you guys decided you want to be engaged?
Um. So that was like our first apartment. Right now we're on. This is our fourth one together.
Okay.
Um. So living together, being around each other more, time is going on now. There's kids involved now. So I don't know if he always felt this way, but I told myself and I told him as well, like I'm not just gonna just string along and continue to shack up. Like that's not gonna happen. So regardless of the outcome, you need to figure it out, like what you want to do basically. And we would talk about a marriage, we would talk about a wedding and planning things like that. But I'm like, we can talk about it all we want, that's fine. But like, where's the action? Where's the ring? Like, I'm not playing. I'm not doing that. Like, I'm a firm believer in speaking on what you want. Like, so you gonna give me what I want, or we could just part ways, and that's perfectly fine. Because I know what I want.
Perfectly fine. I wouldn't.
I mean, it wouldn't have been fine, but I would have had to deal with it if that wasn't what you wanted. But I wouldn't just stick around and be like, oh my God, I wish, I wish, I wish. Like, no.
Yeah, whatever. But yeah, that's mainly why. Like it was that, and also I didn't want my daughter to grow up not like without that in their life. Like I need to show them that's okay for you to know how to get treated by a man. So a man like a man marries your mother. So like it's like, oh, y'all shouldn't take nothing less than that.
Good.
Yeah, I don't really know about that.
So, what is your side of things?
Because it's like now that he say that, like I get it, oh yeah, you care about your kids, that's nice. But it's like if it weren't for kids, then what? Like what would we be doing? Will we still just be sitting around? And I ask him that a lot, like, is this a real thing or is it more so for, how do you say it? Not convenience, but more like, are you just settling just because like this is the situation that we in? Or did you decide like, oh, and I say this to him all the time and he gets so mad, but I'm like, are you just doing this because you want to shut me up? Like, what is
Oh,
it? He says that that's not the case, but part of me still feels that way a little bit sometimes.
okay.
Um, because around him, I don't think like, especially like our age, like nobody is like taking that step. Um, in our friend circle, like on either end, none of them have taken that step, and a lot of them, like at times, they tell us like, oh, like they look up to us and they want to, have a relationship like that. So I always wonder that, and I ask him all the time, like, what was your reason for saying that? Like, all right, now is the time.
Okay.
So
So,
if it wasn't for kids, then what?
I still would have did it. We've been through everything together, so I feel like I basically feel like she's my soulmate because like there's nothing I can't come to her and say or act on from her without her judging me or without her just wanna why like like she don't judge me, so it's more so I felt comfortable with her.
okay. So, it sounds like there's a sense of unconditional love and acceptance that you get from her.
Yeah,
Good. All right.
I mean it's some time where like she get on my nerve, you feel me? But I mean I know that that everything she do is out of love.
All right, good. Okay. Anything else you want to add on to that, B?
Everything I do, like what?
Bro, come on. To the rate. It's like the only thing that'll get me there is like her attitude. Like when she could go from zero to just 100 straight. Like she don't got no halfway button to just full.
I don't even know what that means.
Like, there's no build up. There's just, it's
Nah,
either
like it's
on
no
or
build
off.
up. It's either zero or 100. So it's either she chilling or she going to the max.
So, as you stated in our previous session, that's something you would like to see shift.
I mean, I don't even like not shift on being to the a big change because like she's her, so like it's like I don't know. I don't know how like
I don't like that.
I don't know. I mean we talk about it. We talk about the attitude change and all that, but it's like
I don't like that.
So, what don't you like?
That mentality that bothers me, whether it's him or anybody else, to say like, that's just who I am or that's just who they are. Like, no, if something is bothering you, then just say it. He does not say it. He'd be like, oh well, yeah, that's bothering me, but whatever. Like everything just like is like sweat off his back. He just roll it off and it'd be perfectly fine. But it's like deep down inside, you know that something is bothering you. So why can't you just say it? Like,
Okay.
just say it. It's not hard. Because I'm gonna say it. And then when I speak on how I feel, you feel that I'm attacking you because you're not that kind of person.
Okay. So, that makes sense to me, and I think that's definitely something that we'll get to as we continue in our sessions together. Because oftentimes people struggle with really speaking their mind because they're really not sure of how to speak their mind.
Yeah.
Um, One thing that really stands out to me a lot is throughout everybody's years of school, unless you intentionally go for like counseling or something like that, nobody talks about how do you talk about your feelings.
Right.
So a lot of people just feel inadequate with, how do I do this? Not having
Hmm.
the emotional vocabulary of how do I even describe what I'm feeling? Okay. Alrighty. So what about the transition from being a couple to being parents? How did you guys do with that?
Um, Let me see. How did that?
um honestly it wasn't hard. Like it wasn't more so oh my god what I do. It just it came natural, I guess. I don't know. It just came natural to me. It was like we have a kid now, so us two in a relationship, we actually parents now. But it was like it was more so. It was
Okay.
Um, I think that becoming new parents, like it was kind of, I would say it was kind of okay. It is like a sense of like nervousness. I guess I don't know if it was just because it was like a new parent thing or whatever, but we lived by ourselves. We kind of like far away from people. There's no one to really like jump in and help if we needed help. So it's like we really had to rely on each other.
Okay.
And different parenting styles, I feel like sometimes we would butt heads over that. The way that he handled things versus how I would handle things, or like our mindsets would be kind of different. But I guess it just started to like fall in line. Um, Postpartum was kind of hard for me, but I do think he did as best as he could given the circumstances. So I'll give him that, and I'll tell anybody that, whether it's him or if he's speaking about, like talking to somebody else. I always tell them that, like, I feel like he did pretty good, like dealing with that, because I know it was a lot, and I know that I'm a lot on the regular. So dealing with me, adding on a new kid, adding on postpartum, it was a lot.
Okay. So, can you tell me a little bit more about what you experienced postpartum?
Before, like, I always knew that I wanted to have a kid or kids, whatever, but I was always nervous, I guess, because I'm like, of course, like, I don't know what to do. Like, I've been around kids, babysat kids, kids love me, but I'm like, I don't know how to really be there as a mom because I don't have that in my life. So it's just like, I don't want to mess this person up, basically. So it was hard at first. Um, you get, like when you first have the kid, or if anybody first has a kid, like your first go to is like always like, your parents are there or something like that. So it's like, I didn't have that. So I'm just like, I don't know. It's just a lot.
Okay. So I can understand that. There's a lot that's going on. I mean, never mind all the hormones that are swirling around postpartum, but then you have a whole world of questions because babies don't come with instructions. Like, there's a lot of guessing that you have to do. Is okay, is this cry about this or is it about that? What do
Right.
I do? What's working? And then on top of that, you're feeling isolated. Like you don't
Yeah.
have someone to even pick up the phone and say, okay, this is what's happening. What do I do?
hmm Yeah. For the most part, I would just like, I'm really close with my aunt. So like, I would call them, or like my grandmother, I would call her. But besides that, it's like still a piece of you that's there. Like, where the hell is my mother? Like, what are you doing? So I was like, I don't even like. She might be there. She will call sometimes, but I don't feel comfortable calling you to ask you anything. I want to ask somebody else. But the other half of me is like, damn, like I should call her, but I'm not going to.
Got you.
And
Okay.
then I know how close that I am with all of my grandparents, so I'm just like, I don't want to mess up the bond that my daughter would have with her grandmother, but at the same time, I'm not going to like fight you for it either. I'm not gonna. Yeah,
So that sounds like that's a complicated relationship.
it is. It is. It still is. It has always been, and I don't even know what to do with that anymore. I'm just kind of like rolling with the punches now with her.
Okay.
And I think that's what that statement, like I said, that bothers me when he's like, "Oh, that's just the way she is." I don't like that because that's her mentality, and everyone's around her. That's their mentality about her and like the way that she act. Like, oh, you just gotta excuse it. That's just the way she is. Like, no, you're grown. Get it together.
No, I completely understand where you're coming from. You want her to take responsibility for her behavior and what she says and does, and stop just making excuses and making like everybody else should do the adjusting and not her.
Right.
Okay. I mean, the really sad part about that is as long as everybody's excusing the behavior, she's never going to see a need to improve.
Right. And she doesn't. It just get worse over time. And then it's like sometimes she'll come to reality and be like, "Yeah, I should do this or I should do that," and then it goes out the window and she's right back to the same person all over again. And instead of taking like accountability, there's always an excuse versus, I did this or I said this, I messed up, I shouldn't have did it. It'll be like, okay, well, I said that, but that's all I know, or but that's what was said to me. And it's just like, that's not an excuse because I see how I am with my kid and I'm not doing that. So it's not an excuse for you.
Got you.
Yeah.
So then you bring into parenting a lot of history where you're probably continuously reminding yourself, oh, don't be this way, don't do this, don't
Right.
do that.
Right.
Okay.
But with him, it was like he didn't know a lot about our relationship. So like I said, I am close with one of my aunts. So he would ask her, and she just like wouldn't tell him because my aunt knows. And she was just like, like, that's a conversation that you need to have with her. But it's just like it was a lot that he didn't understand, and I'm not one to paint bad pictures of people. because he know my mom as one person, so I'm not gonna then come behind that and be like, well, she did this, she said this, and now he's looking at her in a different light, to where it's gonna cause even more conflict. Like I don't want anybody feeling uncomfortable around someone else based on what I said. So I like for people to get their own pictures of how people are in their own head.
Okay. So there's a part of me that definitely understands where you're coming from, but then there's another part of me that's slightly concerned because you guys want to forge this life together. And part of that is him being able to support you. And how can he 100% support you in whatever the dynamics of that relationship are if he doesn't know?
Mm-hmm. Right. I try to tell
I
like now
mean,
like bits and pieces, and
for the
I'm
most part though, I know, I know everything. She may think I don't know everything, but I know. If I'm saying no. If I don't know 100% everything, I know about 90%.
Okay. So my perception is you never know what you don't know.
Yeah, yeah. For her, she never know what I know. It's like because her aunts, right, they real close to me. Like it's like I look at them as like my actual aunts. So they'll talk to me, they'll tell me things that she may not know. No, they told me, or that she think
that's
that
weird to me, but okay.
how that's weird. They be open up to me because they know that I have your best interest. That's all.
So I get where you're coming from, but I still want to introduce just a different shift in this. That they're still giving you their perceptions, which may be very different from what her perceptions are.
Yeah,
And you want to get to know her perceptions because you need to support her.
yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
So,
she told me a lot too. All right, when she was pregnant with our first kid, actually her and her mother they had a little argument. So and like I said, there's no halfway with her. It's either she had 0 or 100. Her mother made her get to 100. So when she got to 100, everything just came out. She did such and such, such and such. So like it's like she was telling me, but it more so out of anger because she was at 100. So I don't think she realized that she would tell me everything, but she was actually telling me.
okay. Okay. So, I mean, I still get the feeling that there's a lot that's unsaid.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Um, I know that I need to talk about that because I feel that my history and my relationship with her, it literally affects my everyday life. Like everything that I do from the time I wake up to the time I go to sleep, to the way that I process things, the way that I react to things, him and this whole 0 to 100 thing, like all of that stems from that history. But I don't really know when would be the right time to discuss that. Like if we just having like a good day or whatever, like I'm not gonna bring that up. Like that's weird. Or if we're talking about something else, or whether it's a disagreement between him and not about something different, I wouldn't just like randomly throw that in there. So at what point do I say those types of things? Because it's a lot.
I hear you. So I advocate for kind of like scheduling, planning it. Like, all right, here's the day, the time we're going to sit down together, and this is what we're going to talk about, because there isn't like this right moment that's just gonna pop up someday and be like, ta-da! You
Right.
know, that's not gonna happen. So you have to create the moment. You have to, look at your schedules. Look at, all right, we have this evening here. We don't have anything planned. Maybe we can drop the kids off at this place here, and we could have some time to really have this conversation.
Okay. I just feel like that's a long conversation.
And it might have to be ongoing, you know.
Yeah, I think it will be because it's just like I said, like it's so much. A lot that I feel that I'm sure that he won't really understand because his family dynamics versus mine is completely different.
Of course.
The way that he is with his parents is completely different. Completely, like it's literally like night and day. So, there's a lot. But like I said, I feel that my relationship with her definitely affects my relationship with him. Um, the feelings like with myself, like with my kid, like there's a lot that I try to process like all at the same time. And it's like I'm constantly before I react or do something, I'm constantly like telling myself like, okay, no, you can't say that because that's what she said. You can't do that because that's what she did. Like so it's hard sometimes. I'm literally like mentally fighting myself to do everything as the complete opposite
Okay.
while still trying to tell myself that, in order to move on, like, okay, you just have to forgive and just let it go. And it's like
Okay.
the more I try to forgive, the worse that it gets. There's just like something else, and I'm just like, okay,
Got you. All right.
yeah,
So, first thing is, whenever I sit with people and they have these negative, I guess, patterns of interaction with parents or significant caregivers, their go-to is always, well, I'm going to be the opposite. If they did A, then I'm doing Z. The problem with going to the extreme is the extremes wind up giving you the exact same result.
yep,
So I'm never about the extremes, but I do understand where people are coming from because I had that experience myself. That, oh, here's the list of things that my mom is, so here's the list of things that I can't be. And
mm,
it takes time to learn that not everything about that person is bad.
right,
And you have to sort through, even if there's a particular behavior that, she engaged in, and how she engaged in that behavior was very negative for you. You may have to figure out, okay, there are ways I can engage in this behavior, but I can do this little twist here that makes it better for me and the people around me.
hmm,
So it's not about trying to wipe out everything that's like her. It's about how do you sort through and kind of get the things that are okay. They don't have to be great, but they're okay, and then tweak it to fit you and what it is that works for you and your family. And be okay with it and not feel like, oh my gosh, this is reminding me of her. That means I must be bad. I must be doing something wrong.
hmm,
The other thing is, when it comes to forgiveness, I always talk to people about therapeutic forgiveness. And therapeutic forgiveness is very different from the whole forgive and forget idea. Um, One is, I am never about people forgetting. That does not mean that I advocate for holding grudges. That's not it.
hmm,
But you have to remember, if you're going to learn the lesson and continue to implement what you've learned. If you just
hmm,
simply put it in a category of forget about it, well, then you're also forgetting what you can learn from it. So,
okay,
remember, because that's an important piece of learning and growing. But therapeutic forgiveness is really just about accepting that this is who this person chooses to be. And because this is who they choose to be, this is the place that they can be in my life. It may not be the place that they want. It may not be the role that life has assigned her. In life, her role is mom. But maybe she really can't feel the mom role. Maybe she can feel like a older cousin type of role.
Mm-hmm.
But you get to decide. You get to
Yeah.
decide how that person can be a part of your life, and you accept and stop expecting them to be different. Stop getting mad at them for not being different. That's the piece of acceptance. No, it's not making excuses for her like we were talking about before. Oh, she
Mm-hmm.
just can't. This is just how she is. But it's accepting this is who she chooses to be. It's not that she can't be different, but this is who she chooses to be.
Yeah.
And as long as she continues to choose that, you get a choice too.
Okay. We got it.
Okay. So I think definitely we have to talk more about the different dynamics of families of origin and how they tend to show up in your relationship.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Okay. Let's
Like I said, like we both have like different ways, but um, I do think we both carry like habits from our parents that affect our relationship.
as we all
Some
do.
positive, some negative, but yeah, I think that's what it is.
Okay. So we will definitely continue to explore that and, really start putting everything together and figuring out what shifts need to be made where, um, so that you guys can create the type of relationship that really works for the two of you.
Yeah, sounds good. What you got?
Good. Well, that is our time for today.
Okay.
All right.
You got
I'll
anything
see you
else
next
on?
week.
You get to talk more then, right? All right. Well, you guys have a good week. Enjoy your weekend, and I will talk to you next week.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Bye bye. Thank you again for tuning in to another episode of What Would Helen Say? So, hopefully, you saw the progression of my client's relationship, and hopefully, you'll tune in next week as we dig deeper into the dynamics of her relationship with her mother and how it is affecting her current relationship. Again, if you like what I'm doing and you'd like to support me, or if you're interested in gaining access to detailed notes or early release of episodes, please click on the Patreon link below for more information. Thank you.